In this section, we'll talk about conducting system of the heart. Conducting system is associated with generation of the impulse and then how this impulse travels on the walls of ventricles and auricles and helps in contraction. This conducting system, it comprises of some special cardiac muscles. And that is why it is also known as nodal tissue. There are few important things which we need to remember. The first thing, which is from where this impulse is generated, is known as SA node. Node is for this specialized muscle, and that is why we are calling it nodal tissue. The full form of this is sinoatrial node. And this SA node is also known as the pacemaker of the heart. That means this is the place from where the impulse is generating. Impulse generates here in this SA node. Then this node or this SA node has highest degree of autorhythmicity. Rhythmicity. That means the autorhythmic stimuli which are generated here, they have the of highest degree. It is about 70 to 80 times per minute. But this tissue has least conductivity. This is important information that we need to remember about SA node. One more very essential thing, scientists believe that this SA node is the remaining part of the sinus venosus. If you're able to recall, we started with the heart of fishes and we said there are two main chambers and two accessory chambers. First accessory chamber which receives the blood was sinus venosus. As evolution takes place, this goes on becoming less and less or smaller in size, and then finally it completely gets merged into the right auricle, and that is what scientists believe is modified into SA node. So it is believed to be the remain of sinus venosus. Now let us talk about its location. It is located on the wall of right atrium. Let us draw a diagram to understand where are these tissues located. This is the interauricular septum, then interventricular septum, the valves. So these are the four compartments, and because our focus is only on the conducting system, we are not drawing those papillary muscles and all those things. So let us label these parts. This is the right auricle. This is left auricle, left ventricle and right ventricle. This partitions which we have drawn, this is the interauricular septum. And this is the interventricular septum. Whenever we draw conducting system, this is what is the structure that is required to be drawn. Now, as we said, SA node, it is located on the right side of the right atrium. So, if we try to imagine that this right auricle is the complete structure like this. So this side would become the right side of this compartment. So somewhere here, if you are able to imagine a 3D projection like this, then somewhere here would be the SA node. So it is on the right side of the right atrium. When we draw it in such a manner that it appears here. So let us not get confused that it is inside. We have to visualize that this is a complete compartment and on this wall, right side of the right atrium is this node. Or to have a slightly better idea, we can say that it is very close to the opening of superior vena cava. So this is the SA node. This one which we have drawn here, this is SA node. So location wise, SA node is located on the right wall of right atrium. And this is the pacemaker. This is the place where the impulse is going to get generated. And once this impulse is generated, it's going to travel on the wall of right atrium and left atrium through, again, special cardiac muscles at a speed of 1 meter per second. So stimulus is conducted at the rate of 1 meter per second. And this is the pace at which the impulse is going to get conducted through the muscles. And it is going to reach the other tissue. Now that other tissue is again on the wall of right atrium, but near the junction of interauricular and interventricular septum. Again, if we try to visualize that this is the compartment, then here somewhere between the interauricular and interventricular septum, slightly on the right hand side, is present another tissue. And this is known as the AV bundle. So let us label this. This is, or AV node rather. This is called our SA node, and this is known as AV node. AV stands for auriculoventricular. So first structure was our SA node, which is known as the pacemaker. The second structure which we are talking about is AV node. Location, it is also located on the right auricle and near the junction of interauricular and interventricular septum. From SA node, the impulse is going to generate, then it is going to travel through cardiac muscles and it is going to reach up to AV node. The time in which this impulse reaches from SA node to AV node is 0.03 seconds. So in this time, impulse reaches AV node from SA node, and then from here this impulse will be sent to the walls of the ventricle. The speed with which the impulse travels from AV node further, that is 1.5 to 4 meters per second. That means here the speed with which the impulse is generated is 1 meter per second, whereas from AV node it is generated at a speed of 1.5 to 4 meters. That means that it is going to travel with this speed to the walls of the ventricle. And AV node is actually the structure which is going to set the pace with which the heart is going to beat, because from here the impulse has to come up to the ventricle. Now the question arises, if SA node is sending the stimulus, then it is going to spread on the right auricle, left auricle, and then it should go on the ventricle on its own, because here also cardiac muscles and here also cardiac muscles. Why do we need this kind of an intermediate structure here? The reason is that auricles and ventricles are separated by a band of connective tissue, and that is known as annular pad. Because of this annular pad, the impulse doesn't travel from auricle to ventricle. So, here we can write between auricles and ventricles is annular pad. This annular pad is acting as an insulating layer, basically we can say. And that is why we need a system which is going to collect the stimulus and then conduct it further. Now, the next thing, from the AV node arises a bundle. Again, everything is made up of cardiac muscles. There is a strand of muscle. Again, everything is specialized cardiac muscles. This is known as AV bundle, or it is also known as bundle of His. Bundle of His. And this His is the name of the scientist. Sometimes we write H-I-S and sometimes it is also written as H-I-S-S, named after the scientist. And then this bundle, it divides into two branches. We start calling it left bundle of His and right bundle of His. And from these bundles, these two branches, and from all these, there would be very fine branches of specialized cardiac muscles arise, which spread all through the walls of the ventricle. And these fibers, the red ones which we have drawn here, they are called Purkinje fibers. So let us label these bundles first. This is known as, or these are known as, left and right bundles of His. So from AV node arises one bundle which is known as AV bundle or bundle of His. Then there are two branches. We call them left bundle of His or right bundle of His. And then from all these arise Purkinje fibers. So now our conducting system comprises of SA node, which is the pacemaker, from where the impulse for the contraction of heart is generated. This impulse is received by another specialized node which is called AV node. From AV node, this impulse is conducted through a bundle. We call it either AV bundle or bundle of His. Then this divides into two branches as it goes through the interventricular septum. These left and right bundles, they give rise to many branches, and these branches are known as Purkinje fibers. So now let us number all these things. This is SA node, first part, AV node, second, then AV bundle. This is our third part. So this is the third thing of conducting system. And fourth, Purkinje fibers. So our conducting system comprises of, if we are talking of this conducting, it has SA node, AV node, then it has AV bundle, and fourth, it has Purkinje fibers. So these four things, they make the conducting system. One more time, what is happening here is, there are some specialized muscles which are responsible for generation and conduction of impulse. And we will add one more term here after we are done with this. It starts, that generation of impulse, it starts at SA node. Scientists believe that this is the remain of sinus venosus, which was the accessory chamber in lower vertebrates. From here, the impulse is generated. It travels from SA node to AV node. The time which is taken is 0.03 seconds. In that time period, it reaches here. So now it is received by AV node, and then AV node again sends it through AV bundle, left and right bundles of his and Purkinje fibers to the walls of ventricle. The speed with which the impulse travels from SA node to AV node is 1 meter per second. And from here to the part or to the ventricle, it is 1.5 to 4 meters per second. SA node is pacemaker, AV node is pace setter. So AV node is known as the pace setter because this is the one which is actually sending the impulse to the ventricles. And why we need this conducting system is between auricles and ventricles there is a band of fibrous tissue which is known as annular pad, and that is why there has to be some system which is going to let that impulse travel from here to the ventricles. Now here we have seen that these nodes are specialized muscles. That means the impulse is generated by a muscle. Such a heart where the impulse for contraction is generated by a muscle is known as a myogenic heart. So our heart is myogenic. And what does it mean? That the impulse is generated in or by a muscle. These nodes are specialized muscles. So if the stimulus is generated by a muscle, we will call it a myogenic heart. And in lower vertebrates, the impulse comes from the brain, and that is why they are known as neurogenic hearts. So our heart is myogenic, and this system is known as conducting system. Location, SA node, right wall of right atrium, AV node, right atrium, but at the junction of interauricular and interventricular septum. AV bundle, it descends into the interventricular septum. Left and right branches again in the interventricular septum, and Purkinje fiber all over the wall of the ventricles. And this is how the impulse spreads or it gets conducted on the wall of heart. And that is why our heart is able to contract or beat in a rhythmic manner. Pacemaker, this is natural pacemaker, and that is why whenever this system or this node doesn't work properly, then the heartbeat is not rhythmic. That condition is known as arrhythmia. And to correct it, nowadays artificial pacemakers are available which need to be implanted. So this is our conductive system which helps in conduction of the stimulus generated by SA node. So now as we have understood the conducting system, let us once conclude how this is going to spread. This is the point where it gets generated. Now this travels to the AV node and all over the wall of auricles. That means it is going to go to the walls of auricles. It is generated in the right, but then it goes to left also. It is going to be received by the AV node, and from AV node then it gets further conducted through the interventricular septum, and then it goes on the walls of the ventricles also. So if we have to just think how, in which sequence the compartments are going to contract. The first one is obviously going to be the right auricle because this is the place where the impulse generates. After that, it's going to be the left atrium and then both the ventricles at the same time. Though there is a fraction of a second difference because from here to this wall, it doesn't take that much time because these cardiac muscles are connected. Only time required is from auricles to ventricles because of this annular pad. So, after understanding this conducting system, we will be able to understand how cardiac cycle works.